Hello from Tokyo. Today I'm going to use some of my leftover paints from the last painting. This is turquoise green and these are all Amsterdam brand paints. That's primary magenta and this is light gold. And then for the base, I've made up some more titanium white here. As you can see there's a lot more. And then the oxide black I'm going to swap out for Prussian blue phthalo. It's hard to tell on camera, but this is this color here, so it's not the black. All the paints have been mixed with 2 parts Floetrol and 1 part paint, a little bit of water, and then the colors have about 4 drops of this silicone in them, apart from the Prussian blue. That's not got silicone. And I'm going to try and do swipes with these thin strips of plastic, so we'll see how that goes because it's my first time to do this. So let's lay down the titanium white base. As I'm adding more paint on top, I haven't used too much of a thick base paint coating here, but it could have been thicker in retrospect actually. But anyhow, I'm popping out the air bubbles with a torch and now laying down the colors. I find when I do any swipes, the turquoise green often takes over, so I don't want to put too much of it down. And also the phthalo, Prussian blue phthalo, that might also be quite strong. So, and oh yes, I am going to actually swipe today with the gold. That's right, I'm going to swipe today with gold. I'm just blending the colors together a bit. And yeah, I'm going to go for, I'm hoping I'm going to get some sort of gold netting, lacing type effect, but we'll see. Here we go with the first swipe. So for the first one, I went all the way down to the bottom, so there was no issue there. But here, I realized that this hard plastic, ooh, see, it's quite hard to know how to lift up. So this was a bit of an adventure using this thick plastic. You can see the cells popping up now. It's not had the netting or lacing effect that I was going for because I think you need an even thinner swiping color. So the light gold could have been a little bit thinned out. But I'm liking this anyway. It's something new for me to try. Realizing here you need a really steady hand to be able to get straight lines. And I also think maybe it might be fun to use a thinner plastic because this is one of the folders that I just chopped up. And in fact, I think maybe the ends would be easier to lift off if you use a thinner plastic. I'm also using different widths of the plastic, and the really slim ones, like this one, it's harder to manage. See, woo, went a bit wiggly. I've also started to re-swipe or double swipe on certain areas where I don't feel enough of the gold is being picked up. I had intended to make this a symmetrical painting, but when I discovered it was hard to lift off in exactly the same way for each strip or each swipe, I decided to just go with it and go asymmetrical. The sides there, the ends were a little bit tricky. trying to see if I can do something to the ends here by blowing them out to see if they'll do anything interesting, but also adding some more paint down for the bits that I felt that were too dark with the Prussian blue. Seeing if maybe adding a bit more turquoise and primary magenta and even a bit of white might brighten it up a little bit. So I ended up getting the balloon out to try and take the gold off a bit. However, you know, I was saying at the beginning, I didn't lay down a super thick base layer. So there wasn't that much paint to pick up, especially after the swiping. So I ended up leaving these sort of white dents rather than flowers. So on top of this, I will decide to add to where I've picked up the gold paint. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm going to add titanium white to these spots, kind of like what I did in painting number 36, which was adding flour to make the painting 3D. This isn't going to be 3D, but it's the same way in the fact that I'm adding the white and then colors on top and then blowing those out with a straw. And then I will be taking the balloon to kind of center it together. So it's kind of getting a 5-petaled flower shape down initially and then doing a balloon smash on top of that to kind of center it together. I just repeated myself, but you know what I mean. And in fact, these looked a bit like plumeria flowers, I think, which is very pretty. Fixing the middles in this one was a real challenge because I had silicone in the paint. So it would just do weird things, you know. So I tried it with both the primary magenta and also with the turquoise green, and yeah, it was a little bit tricky. So let's have a look at the wet finish of the painting. You can see that the cells are like bubbles. They're round, kind of roundish oval looking instead of the lacing that I had intended, but they're still really fun how they've picked up like this. You know, a little bit like tentacles, I guess. And the flowers are really pretty. I had not intended making any floral paintings for a little bit, but it worked out. It looks like plumeria. The edges of where I lift up the plastic still needs to be thought out, but I'm loving how the colors are blended together. It's so pretty. I could keep on using this color combination for a long time. In fact, my next painting will also be the same color combination. But anyway, it's really pretty. Look at those. How it kind of goes a bit purple as well when it blends like that. Okie dokie, let's have a look at how it dried. Look at a little bit of the shimmer from the light gold. And the Prussian blue is pretty dark, but actually it's lighter than when it's looking on camera. In real life, it's a bit lighter. But yes, it's dried flat. The flowers are not 3D here because I'm not layering. So it's smoothed out. And the edges are actually fine. I think it gives a kind of organic feel to it. The middle of the flowers, you can see, are not as tidy as my usual ones, but it's because I had silicone in that paint. So if you're going to do the same, have some paints mixed up nearby without any silicone in them so you can fix the middles without any issues. But I do love the flow of the florals like this. You know, the plumeria looking florals. Very nice, and I like the edges. You can see the shimmer a little bit better from this angle. So, what did you think of the painting today? Will you try this too? Thank you so much for watching as always, and see you in the next one. Bye!